Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach and lash educator. And this week, okay, so you guys voted on my Instagram stories recently that you wanted to hear this story on the podcast. So this week, I'm going to be telling you one of the crazy stories from when I took lash clients where shit hit the fan and it just was so absolutely stressful. And I think if you've done lashes for any amount of time, if you own a business for any amount of time, you know that like these situations come up sometimes, and being able to navigate through them is part of being a business owner. And yeah, so it really is a crazy story. So what even reminded me that it ever even happened, because I have just absolutely blocked this out of my brain that like from existence, just because it was honestly so stressful that I just don't even want to remember that it happened, which is why I've never even talked about it before on here. But um what reminded me of this is my husband and I celebrated our 7-year wedding anniversary this last week. So August 25th was our 7th wedding anniversary. And so back in 2020, 3 years ago, I was 7.5 months pregnant, and it was our wedding anniversary. That was the year I had built my clientele in less than 6 months. So at that point, I was really busy, just taking clients back to back, just doing as many days as I could. Basically was working every evening, Fridays, and Saturdays, and just was super booked out, getting ready to go into maternity leave, and just really working a lot, honestly. Like basically anytime I wasn't like playing with my kids or spending time with my family, I was probably working. And so I was 7.5 months pregnant. That was our 4th wedding anniversary. We had gone out to dinner, and I think it might have even been a couple days before our wedding anniversary, like the day of it. But we went to dinner for our wedding anniversary, and afterwards, and this is pertinent to the story, so that's why I'm giving you this. We're setting the scene here, okay? So we went to dinner. After dinner, we went to frozen yogurt, and it was starting to get pretty cloudy outside. It was getting like rainy. You could tell like this big storm was coming through. And we lived in southern Utah at the time. And if you know anything about living in the desert, you know that they have monsoon season. And this is something that I'm so familiar with. It's just like such a normal thing for me because I grew up in Arizona where there was monsoon season. So this is just very common occurrence. And so we were out at frozen yogurt and we could see this monsoon rolling in. And generally speaking, that doesn't really freak me out, like I said, because I'm so used to them. And so we went to frozen yogurt and we were inside, and obviously all the big windows and stuff. So there was a lot of lightning and there was this monsoon rolling in. So some of the lightning caused like a fire on the side of this hill. We were like, oh my gosh, like it's getting crazy out there. We should probably head home, because once it does start raining, usually monsoons drop like a ton of water at once, like rains a bunch, and it can cause flash flooding. And so at that point, like typically I'm usually like, yeah, whatever. But at that point we were like, it's starting fires. It's getting really dark outside. Like there's tons of lightning. Like we should probably head home. So we left the frozen yogurt place, went home, and it just absolutely, we got home just in time because it absolutely dumped rain. It poured rain. And it was like the craziest monsoon I've really ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of monsoons in my lifetime. And so it just pours rain and I'm not thinking anything of it. Like we lived at the time like 3 minutes from my studio, my lash studio. I didn't think anything of like I should go check on the studio, which I feel so stupid about in hindsight. Like, why did I not think about that? Because this storm poured down so much rain, it flash flooded, it flooded people's dorms, it flooded like buildings, hotels, university, like it flooded so many businesses and it just was like crazy. And so it caused sinkholes where like they had to close down roads and stuff. And I think the one was actually in a parking lot. I can't remember exactly. It was a few years back, obviously, but it caused fires. We saw the fire started. It was flooding. It caused sinkholes. Like it was a crazy storm and I did not even think about like I should go check on the studio. But the girl who I was renting from, so it was like a salon suite setup, she had someone go down to the studio and check to because she lived far away. So she had someone go down and check and be like, yes, is it good or not? Like, is it flooding or not? And it had flooded. And so and I don't remember if she sent out a message that night or the next day or whatever. And it's so funny because when I posted on my Instagram story and I was like, oh my gosh, like this picture popped up in my memories from 3 years ago when our studio flooded and it was really stressful and like, should I talk about this on the podcast? She actually messaged me. She was like, OMG, the trauma. I was like, yes, literally have blocked it out of my mind because it just there was so much that happened. So anyway, she had sent someone down. It flooded the studio. I think she must have, I don't know if I just came in the next day, if she sent out a message or what, but I went in and so basically what had happened was there's storm drains on the side of the building that we were in and they were blocked. I don't know if it was just like debris or what, but something blocked the drains and caused water to build up on the side of the building. And so then it went in through the side of our building through our spray tan room. So at the time, the building, like I said, it was a salon suite setup. There was probably one, two, three, like four of us lash artists in there, a couple people doing spray tans, and nail artist, microblader. There was like a few of us in the building, right? So the spray tan room, it was just this really small like room that was dedicated to just doing spray tans. And so most of the water came in through the spray tan room, through the side of it, and then down into the hallway and through the lobby area, and then it flooded into some of the other rooms like along the way. Luckily, my actual room at the time, it was when I had the smaller space. It was like the really tiny windowless room that I had. My room did not get very flooded. It like got all my carpets soaking wet. Like I had like rugs in there, not carpets, but I had like pink fuzzy rug in there and it got that super wet. But other than that, like none of my equipment was damaged. None of my lash supplies or products or anything got damaged, which was so thankful for. And really no one in the studio had any of their stuff get damaged, like their actual work equipment. So that was really honestly a blessing out of this. It just really obviously damaged the flooring. And so this is just where it gets ridiculous. So it flooded, she was in there like pulling out people's rugs and laying them out to dry outside and trying to like mop up water. So I went in and was trying to help her and starting to get things cleaned up. And so she was working with the landlord and being like, the studio flooded, we need to get this fixed. And apparently the studio had flooded multiple times before, at least, I don't remember exactly how many, but at least like once or twice that I know of, that building had already flooded. And in the past, when it flooded, it had carpet in it. And for some, like, this literally blows my mind because I just do not know how people can be so, like, negligent or, like, not do things the correct way, and I think that maybe that's just because try to be really thorough and do things the right way, but for some reason, and I don't know if it was that current landlord or a past one, but for some reason, in the past times when that building had flooded with the carpet, instead of ripping out the carpet and putting new flooring in, they just put, basically, like, the fake, I don't know if it was vinyl planking or, like, the fake hardwood floors on top of it. And so when it flooded again back in 2020, it was carpet with the hardwood floor on top of it, like hardwood floor. It wasn't the real ones. I don't know, it was like the cheap fake stuff, right? But it had the carpet with that on top of it. And so when you walked in, your feet would just like mush down because all the carpet underneath was mushy and then all like the planking on the top was all mush as well. And oh my gosh, it smelled so bad, and I'm sure there had to have been mold underneath of it from them just, like, putting something on top of the carpet before that had flooded, and so it stunk so bad in there, and it was just like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is disgusting." So they had fans going in there trying to kinda dry out stuff, trying to get the smell out, get some ventilation through there, and, like, my schedule was so packed and busy. I'm like, "What are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna take clients?" So, basically, what ended up happening was the landlord came in, and I don't remember exactly, like, the timeline of events here, but he came in and he was being so slow of, like, getting anything done, and we're like, "We have to take clients and make money, like, we still have to pay rent, like, you need to get this fixed, right?" And so he starts like, I think they came in and ripped out all the flooring, so the smell went away, and it was just, like, the cement on the bottom or whatnot, and so, basically, they didn't rip everything out at once. I can't remember exactly what it was, but basically, we ended up moving everyone's stuff into, like, one room as, like, a storage room, and then everyone would kinda trade out to offer services in whatever room was not being used, or there was another studio next door to us that did not flood, who had the same landlord and doing services in those rooms, like the open rooms over there, so that we could still try to take clients, during this time. But, because oh my gosh, I hate though this is, like, triggering me even talking about this. But so, we were doing services in rooms that were not being worked on, that were not actively having any type of construction done in it, or completely in a different space where it was 0% unaffected. And so what ended up happening was someone first off, made a complaint about the noise when they were trying to redo the flooring, and so they had also put in, like, a dumpster in the front of the building, like, in the parking spots right there, and mind you, this is a very busy, like, business complex, there's multiple businesses in these buildings, so, it was kind of like a fourplex in a way, there was, like, 2 businesses on the bottom floor, and then 2 businesses on the top floor, like, different so there's basically 4 different, like, doors you can go in, um, and so the business above ours that kind of shared similar parking, right there in front of that side of the building, had complained about the trash can, like, they put a dumpster out there when they ripped everything out, so it was blocking some of the parking spots. So they complained about the dumpster being out there, and they were complaining about the noise of the new flooring going in, and then apparently someone put in a complaint to OSHA, um, and if you know anything about OSHA, I had to really look into it and research at the time because 'cause I'm like, you know what OSHA is, but then you also don't, or at least for me, I was like, "The heck?" Like, so to put a complaint into OSHA, it has to be someone who works at the actual establishment complaining about unsafe working environment. And so someone who was working in like, one of the girls in our building which I'm pretty sure I know who it was. I'm not gonna, like, obviously not gonna name names, and it doesn't really matter at this point, but it was someone who was they're very part-time, and they had a relative who I don't know if she owned or just worked at it was a salon above us, like, upstairs from us, and she just was working part-time and whatnot. So I think she was probably the one who complained or whatever, but put in a complaint about unsafe working environment and that people were taking clients in the middle of construction and whatnot. And so there was an OSHA complaint, so the health department came out and checked things out, and they completely closed the whole salon down and said, "You can't take any clients until this construction is complete, till the flooring is all done and put in." And so we completely got closed down. I had such a full schedule and I was so pregnant. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I had already closed down once. I was already getting ready to close, well, one down once because of it was 2020. And my area was a little bit unique in the fact that there was not ever a mandatory closure. And so I had closed for a month because I was like, I am newly pregnant. I don't really know what this can possibly do for me if I were to get sick. It was, like, when it was still really brand new and no one really knew, like, what the long-term effects would be or how it affected pregnant people or anything, and I just was nervous, so I was like, "I'm just gonna close for a month." But that was kind of I don't wanna say it was a big deal, but, like, just different because there were a lot of other businesses in my area, especially lash businesses, who did not close. So for me to close, that was a big risk I was taking because everyone else was open for business still. And so my clients just went other places. So that was really scary to close down. So I had already done that once, and then I was getting ready to go on maternity leave. And so here I am in the middle of that with the salon being closed down by the health department and just being like, what the hell do I do? Like, it was so stressful. But honestly, in that moment in time, it was like, I really can't do anything about this. I don't have control over these circumstances. And, I had tried to continue to take clients when I could, was not actively a construction zone. I say that in quotes because they were just putting like slapping new flooring in extremely slowly because this was like an old dude and his brother, and he came in. I remember he was in there one day and I was in there trying to help move my stuff out so that they could put the flooring in my room. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I should come in and like have you guys do my hair." And we're like, we don't do hair. Like none of us do hair." I was like, "I could do your eyelashes though if you want." And he was just so confused. Like, I think he thought he had a building full of cosmetologists, and that just is not even the case. So he just was like totally out of touch with who he was even renting to. And mind you, like I had never met him before because I did not rent directly from the landlord. It was a sublease. So there was one girl who basically rented the whole space and then subleased out the rooms that she was not in. And so she was only ever my only point of contact, and then she would obviously deal with the landlord and such. So I had never actually met him before, and so he was like totally shocked that like they don't actually do hair in here. So anyway, I didn't have control over this situation, and it was interesting to have that experience and even to look back on that experience because I was so busy with clients, and that was such a blessing, obviously. I was so thankful for that, but I was like pushing myself and pushing my body to its limit with being that pregnant and taking on as many clients as I was at the time and working as much as I was at the time. And I basically had been feeling like I needed to slow down a bit and maybe stop taking as many clients, but I was like, "No, I'm just gonna push." Like I only have like a few more weeks left till I'm gonna go on leave, till the baby's here. Like I just need to get this done and like take my clients and just, I'd already closed once. I was worried about getting my clients back in the door again. I didn't want to close too early. And anyway, it kind of was this moment where I was not listening to my body that I needed to slow down and like honor that my body was needing the break. I don't want to say like full break, but even just to slow down on the clients, right? Because I was so pregnant and just pushing myself to keep going and take more clients and, keep up with the schedule and all that. And I basically ignored that or just pushed through it. Thank you, like hustle and grind mentality, I guess, just trying to do what I felt like I needed to do. But basically, in this situation, it honestly, I remember just sitting on the couch and just I had been so stressed over the whole thing, and just it was like right after the health department had closed us down and said you can't offer services until this is fixed. And the landlord had been going so slow. I just remember like sitting on the couch and being like, maybe this is the universe's way of forcing me to slow down, or like God's way of forcing me to slow down, because I didn't listen to my body before. And so now I'm being put in this situation where I have to slow down. I don't have any other choice and I had to take a break. So I'm not going to say that that's like the whole reason that our studio flooded or whatever, but it was like one of the results of that, I guess. I mean, I would hope that it wasn't like the whole reason that that craziness happened because it was so stressful, but it was really a big learning lesson for me that if you don't listen to your body and you don't listen to what it needs, that you will be put into situations and forced into situations where you're not going to have a choice anymore. You're going to have to take a break and you're going to have to readjust things to not be on that train to burnout anymore, or not be pushing yourself too hard and too far. So that really forced me to take a look at how I was running my business and the client load I was taking on. And then as I was able to start coming back and taking clients again, thank goodness I mean, I don't want to say thank goodness they closed us down, but thank goodness the landlord sped up his pace a bit when we did get closed down, because we're like, hey, we can't take any clients now. Like, you've got to like get this stuff done. Like, you can't just be messing around with this anymore. I don't remember exactly how long it took for him to actually get all this flooring replaced, but it was like very janky afterwards too. Like, different flooring in different rooms, and like I don't know, it kind of looked funny. It was fine. It just I would not have done it that way, but that's just me personally. Um so yeah, the new flooring got done. Thank goodness they ripped out the carpet that time. Finally did something right there. So they ripped out the carpet, put the new flooring in. It was like tile, and then some of the rooms got like the, I don't know, the fake vinyl planking crap. And so we were able to start taking clients again, and so I was like, "Okay, I need to slow things down a bit." Obviously, I had to cancel a lot of clients during that time when we were closed down, and I had to reschedule people. So I took on a lighter load after that. And I think that's basically where I was like, I should probably start a wait list instead of taking on new clients. I will just take care of my clients that I have right now and start this wait list so that I have people to contact when I come back from maternity leave, or if I have like openings and such before then. And so that was really a turning point for me in my business, where I really had to take a long, hard look at how I was running things and my mindset and my mentality on things, because really, like, the universe or God, or however you view that, like, I know everyone is different with that, and I totally respect that. But, you will get put in these situations where you're not going to have a choice anymore. And so I think that that's really important to listen to your body and to listen to how you're feeling. And if you're feeling burnt out, if you are feeling um, just so done and tired and exhausted and it's not lighting you up anymore, a lot of people will tell you just raise your prices or take a break, which I think are both really good things to do because that can help you navigate those periods. But I think one of the things that most people don't realize is that if you don't readjust how you are doing things in those circumstances, readjust the ways that you're running your business that put you in that position to begin with, that put you into that burnout to begin with, then you will eventually find yourself right back where you started at. Whereas like just because you take a break and you come back and you're ready to go again, you're still
hustling, or doing that many clients or not taking breaks or whatever it is, like you're just putting yourself right back on that train to burnout eventually. So I think that this is important that when you're running into these situations of like burnout, or you're being forced into a break like I was, or you're feeling exhausted, you're just feeling like, I'm so busy, I don't know what to do. Like, take time to readjust things. So a couple of things that really helped me, and these were things implemented more even so like after I came back from maternity leave, because I only had a few more weeks after that, where I took clients, and then obviously I had my baby and went on an extended leave and then came back. And so when I came back, and it even took me a while after I came back too, and this is how I even figured this out, because I continued to work the same way I had before, where just like trying to squeeze as many clients in as I could when I was able to work. I wasn't scheduling breaks. I was just kind of letting clients schedule whenever during the days that I was working, and just I didn't really have a lot of structure to that. And so then I found myself burnt out again. And it was like, okay, I need to listen to my body on this. We should probably slow down or take a break, or what do I do? And so I was finding myself right back in that same situation because I didn't change how I had been doing things before. So that really, again, made me take a long, hard look at my schedule and how I was running things so that I didn't have to run into that burnout and that overwhelm again. So a few things that really helped me was to have like set breaks in my schedule. So from, I don't know, like my favorite schedule I ever worked was like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I would schedule like a 12 p.m. lunch break every single time, every single day that I worked. It was like my recurring schedule. I never scheduled over it with clients. Like, it was my set break. And you can add more to that if you need to, but like that was at least my 1 hour of just absolutely no clients get booked at this time. And what I had been doing before too, like when a client would reschedule, is like, okay, what time do you want to come in at? And being like, I could do 3:30, or, like 1:32, like giving them options and letting them kind of schedule whenever. And instead of that, I added more structure into my day, whereas had set times where clients could schedule. So 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and then I would take a 12 p.m. lunch break, come back at 1, take a 1 p.m. client, and then a 2:30 client. And so then I would be done by 4 p.m. I had a nanny until 5 p.m. at the time. And so then that would leave me an hour of flex time at the end of my day that I could either fit in like a shorter appointment if I wanted to, or generally speaking, I would use that time for back end things and getting done. Like, I would switch out the days. So one day I'd do like inventory, one day I would batch content, or, do cleaning, go shopping for supplies, things like that. So that gave me an hour of time to get my back end stuff done so that I didn't have to do that when I got home. And that made that a lot nicer, because then I could go home and like actually spend time with my kids and be present with them, and not like working on my phone with content, or ordering things, or trying to figure out what my inventory was like at the time, or whatever else it is. You know how it goes. And so that really helped me to have that flex time scheduled into my day as well, and just to have like an actual structure behind it. And not only that, but just to have better systems behind how I was managing my clientele, how I was managing the inventory, how I was managing the cleaning and all that, and like structuring that and scheduling that into my day. That really helped me to have better systems behind that, so that things didn't fall through the cracks and I wasn't trying to get everything done when I went home. Now, obviously there were still some things that I did do at home. It's just, I think that's just life of being a business owner. You have things that come up sometimes, but for the most part, I was able to get a majority of things done at the studio, and that really helped me to keep a better balance between home life and work life, and kind of, I don't wanna say completely leave, work at the studio, because again, business owner life, that's just not how things go. But it just gave me a better balance of, I could be more present with my kids because I wasn't worrying about getting my content posted for the day. Or I remember there was times when I would come home from taking clients and just be so tired and just done for the day, and just, like, laying on the couch, like, I just wanna hang out with my kids, like, I just wanna make dinner and go to bed or whatever, and then I'm like, "Ugh, I gotta post. I need to post on Instagram, and I don't have anything ready. Oh, I need to go do this for the business." And so having that flex time really did help me, and having those better systems so that I could get those things done and not worry about them at home was really beneficial to me. And that really helped me with burnout and feeling exhausted and like feeling overwhelmed in my business. And especially as your clientele grows and you have more clients to manage, you have more things to do. This is really important too, because that's when you're going to start hitting that burnout, if not. But yeah, general um point of this story is just really listen to your body. And when you find yourself, if you ever find yourself in those positions of burnout, like listen to that, and don't just take a break or raise your prices and think that you're just going to be fine after that if you keep going the same way you were before. Like think on how you're doing things and consider, what can I adjust or change to help me not run into this situation again. And you might still have to adjust or change things again later on as things change, as your business evolves, as your life evolves, as your schedules change. But that's really going to help you have better, I don't want to say balance, because I feel like there's not necessarily always a balance in business and life, but just help you manage your business better and manage your time better, um, and hopefully not be riding that train to burnout. So, yeah, this story, crazy things. Thankfully that building didn't ever flood again while I was there. I don't know if it has since, and we don't live there anymore. But yeah, it was just wild to, it flooded. Then OSHA and the health department got involved and we got closed down. The landlord was so slow. It literally was so crazy. And I was just so pregnant and hormonal and just crying and just like freaking out. And like, I'm a very high anxiety type of person. So that's just kind of how I am. And so just having to like let go of that control and be like, okay, like I just need to take a break and enjoy this and like time. And it honestly was kind of really nice to just be able to relax for a minute, especially being that pregnant. If you know, you know what I mean. um but yeah, so that's the story of the time our studio flooded. Crazy things. And yeah, just make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's really just the overarching point of this show today, the episode today. Take care of yourself. Don't just keep pushing yourself, especially if you know like you're headed towards burnout. And I'm sure you know what that's like, because I'm sure all of us have experienced that at one point or another. And think about what you can adjust. That would be my recommendation, because I've been there, I've done that, I know what it's like. And if that's something that you ever need help with, feel free to reach out. That's something I can help work with you on and we can work together on. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my crazy stories. And I hope you have a great week.